Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. Today I'm going to show you a variety of gift card and scratch off holders. As this goes live out into YouTube land, it will be December 13th. So there's not much time between now and gift giving. And I know everyone suddenly finds someone that, oh no, I didn't get a gift for this person. Or you suddenly decide you're going to give a little set of scratch offs to a colleague, or whatever the reason. Gift cards are a great standby, as are lottery tickets, but sometimes it's just nicer to dress them up so they don't look like a second thought, afterthought kind of gift. They look like they're meant to be given all along. And we've all done the whole, what do you buy for a teenager? Well, a gift card is a great answer, but this just dresses it up a little bit so it looks more like it was meant to be. So these are 4 different cards. I will go through them systematically and let's get started. As always, of course, the directions and the measurements will be in the bottom so you don't have to frantically follow along. The first one is the little gift card holder, and it has a belly band, and then it opens up like this and the gift card pops up in the middle. iTunes, great for your lovely teenagers or for anyone. Doesn't really matter what the gift card is. This is the concept of how it works. So let me get the ingredients in. It's a piece of 4¼ by 11 cardstock. I've cut 1 inch off the end so it became 4¼ by 10. It's cut in half at 6, and the 6-inch piece is scored at 2 and 4¾ and the 4-inch piece is scored at 2 3/4. So what we effectively end up with is a little piece that is 1.5 inches deep on both of the pieces, and that's what we're going to sandwich together to make the section that holds the gift card. So I'll just give these a quick little burnish, and because they're going to be moving quite a bit, the best way to make sure that they stay together is to use the tear and tape. You can use the liquid Tombow glue. That's also another way of making sure it stays. Whichever adhesive you have or prefer to use, but as long as it's a strong one that is going to keep it together, that's what I highly recommend, because you don't want your little gift card section to start falling apart. So along the bottom and up the 2 sides, so it creates the little pocket that it sits into. And the tear and tape suddenly wants to be very friendly with my fingertips. Get off. So there we go. So we'll take the backing paper off and do my usual trick of flinging it across my stamping room, and then later on I'll go and find it. So the best way to do this is just to put them up against each other and then close one, just close them up so the tops go together. You can make sure you've got them even at the bottom and then give them a nice press, and that's what has created a little pocket that the gift card will sit into. When we're cutting the cardstock, just sometimes there's that 1/8, 1/16, 1/32 of an inch that's just a little bit too much, depending on where it falls in the trough. And this is actually looks like it's happened in this instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this back into the paper trimmer, line it up with barely a smidge, whoops, and just trim a little bit off. Oh, it looks like my blade needs to be replaced, so let me just go ahead and give that a little haircut so it looks a bit neater. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you're doing all this prep and all this cutting. So let's just pretend that's a nice neat edge. There we go. So now it will actually fold over, and we're going to do the decorating. So we're going to put, I've got all the pieces. There is, it's 4 by 1 3/4. goes on here, and I will, this is a design, as you can see, where the continuity of it doesn't matter, but it could be, if you had a pattern that was running down, it would be nice if you could keep it all the way. Just reminded me when I saw the little gnomes out of the gnome paper. So I'm going to attach this to here. That's 4 by 2.5, and then I've got one little piece which is 4 by 1 inch, and that's going to go on the front of where the gift card goes, because that's the part that you will actually see when the card is opened. This part really falls behind, so I didn't feel it was really necessary to use the designer series paper. So it's just a piece of basic white. Why does that feel so thick? Because it is. And pop that in there. And then the other one, of course, goes on the front where the greeting goes. And these again are 4 by 2.5, because they'll layer onto 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, and we like to use the little 1/4 inch border all around. So we have the pocket where the card goes, the 2 white pieces, and the same designer series paper on the front. So let me go ahead and do some stamping. Oh, this piece goes on the inside, sorry about that. And again, like this piece, that's 4 by 1 3/4. This is 4 by 1 3/4. So let's get some stamping done. We're going to put the Merry Christmas in the top on the inside. And the reason I've moved it to the top and not in the middle is when you open it, the gift card can sort of slightly obscure it, so it's better if it's more visible. And then we'll do Oh What Fun, because it's never not fun to receive a gift card. So we'll pop that on there, and then because it's a gift, we'll use the Pool Party ink, and we'll do the to and the from. So you can sign it so your lovely recipient knows who gave it to them. And then just in this part, because I felt it was quite plain, I used the snowflakes that came from the same stamp set. Just fling a few little bits of snowflakes around, and it just jazzes that up a little bit. So that's the body of the card with the place to sign. We'll go ahead and get another gift card to pop in there. Because we need to feel the width of how it is when you're putting the belly band on. So belly band goes round, but it doesn't want to be too tight because you wouldn't be able to open it or get it back in, which is why I'm suggesting when you come to put it on, you actually build the whole thing, you put the gift card in place, because that's as fat as it's going to be when you come to do it. So this piece is 1 inch by 6.5. I found that was a good width that went round. So it just goes round just enough that you can move it along and slide it a little. It's not going to slide until it's stuck together, I fear. But then we're going to pop another little bit of tear and tape where the seam is going to be closed, because again it's a moving part and it would be really helpful to have them stuck together. So we'll pop 2 tear and tapes on there, make sure it stays put. Put this round, just have to bring it so it's around snugly but not too tight. There we go, now it's going to move, and then you can just squeeze it back on. I mean, it doesn't want to be falling off, but that's just enough. And then I'm going to add one of the gnomes, which I cut from the paper. I fussy cut it, and here's a funny story. I fussy cutted this one. I cut them complete, and it was always a thing that my grandma used to tell me when she was peeling apples, that if you could peel the whole skin of the apple off in one go, and then you would throw it over your shoulder, whatever letter it looked like, that was going to be the initial of the person that you would marry. It's just such a lovely story. It, you know, not very likely, but how quaint that that was a little story from her generation. And believe you me, she was very good at peeling apples. I never asked her if she ever managed to make the initial of my granddad, but there you go. So we're going to pop 2 dimensionals on, and then just pop this chap on the belly band, and we'll put his little friend back on this one. So there you have it, 2 little belly banded gift card holders that open up, somewhere to write, a nice little gift inside. I think anybody would be quite happy to receive that, whether they were a last minute or, like I said, a meant to be all along person. So that's the first one. The second one is going to be this one, and it's going to open up, and the gift card is going to go on the inside. So let me get started with the dimensions for that one. It's a piece of real red, and it's 8.5 by the 11 this time, and it's scored at 1.5 and 5.5. 5.5 is the usual fold it in half card. So we'll fold that in half, and then we'll fold over the 1.5 inch section. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2-inch hole punch and just cut a little notch out of there, so it makes it easy to get your gift card out. The next part is a piece of Whisper White. Whisper White, how old am I? Basic white. It always used to be Whisper White. And this is cut down by, by the 1/4 inch. So it's now 5.25 by 4. And that's going to go on the inside. We'll stamp the Merry Christmas in real red, so it leaves plenty space to stamp who it's from. And then we're going to put again a little bit of tear and tape on these 2 edges to hold it down, because it's going to be quite heavy duty of its task at hand. Ooh. And then we will just fold that down, grab another gift card of Costco cash, and then we're going to decorate the front. The way I've decorated it is a little bit reminiscent of the stack and shuffle cards I made back in March. It's just the 4 pieces that all fit together. So, I don't remember what the measurements are. I've got them written down, so let me have a look. It is 1 1 by 3 3/4, 1 by 3, and 2 3/4 by 3. And then you can just mix and match them as long as they fit together on the front of your card. Again, like I say, it's reminiscent of the stack and shuffle kind of look that we did back in March. So let me pop these on. Just leaving the same border around the edges. And this is all cut from the Sweetest Christmas Designer Series paper. And there's also even a candy cane, which again, I fussy cut it out. Can't say with hand on heart that I managed to cut this one out all in one piece. My grandma would not be proud of me, but there you go. I tried my best. So we will attach this with some dimensionals. And pop those backings off. And stick it on the card. And now we just need to make a greeting. So I'm going to be using the Decorated with Happiness. It's got Christmas greetings and it just fits nicely. It's the size that I kind of want it to be. So we'll pop it, the acrylic stamp, the polymer stamp onto the acrylic block. Ink it up and stamp it, and then it just peels off the block and goes back onto the cellophane that it came from and back into the little box, easy peasy. And then I do have an old label punch which just seemed to fit what I wanted it for, and that's it. Then I thought when I put it on, it was a little bit plain. It kind of got lost, and I thought, well, I'll do it in red. But of course, being an old punch, it's not like the dies where there are cascading sizes. But what I did was I went ahead and I just punched it out of red and then took the paper cutter and lined it up so the cutting mark was in the middle of the card, and just sliced it in half. So then what you just need to do is put a little bit of adhesive on the back side and layer them on, so nobody is any the wiser that it's secretly missing a whole big thing at the back. But we'll pop some dimensionals on. Actually, I'm gonna slice one in half. So pop that on the top and the bottom, and then fills that space nicely. Oops, well, that one's already sticky. I'm trying to peel off a backing that's already not there. And then what I'm going to do is where this seam is, I'm going to put the greeting so it doesn't look like so much like pieces all stuck together. So there it is. That's the card. It's got, obviously the piece that we've used to put the gift card in has become a nice little space for an extra decoration. So that's the two of those with their gift cards inside. Then I thought, well, what about a lottery ticket? Unfortunately, both of those ideas that I've just shown you, a lottery ticket doesn't fit. So I thought, well, I wonder if I could do it, instead of doing it landscape, if I could do it portrait, it would be a little bit taller. So this is the one that I came up with. Again, it's using the same Sweetest Christmas with the candy canes. And it did. So a little smaller sized gift card scratch off will fit in there, but it still won't fit the bigger one. I don't think anything is going to fit one of the lovely $10 ones, but a little selection of the $1 gift cards, or again, you can take it out and you can use it for a gift card. So either or you can give them a gift card and a scratch off. So that's just the portrait version of the landscape card. Both fit a gift card, only the taller one will fit the smaller lottery tickets. So there's that idea. And then I thought, well, what if I want to give a bigger value of a gift card? So I came up with, well, I didn't come up with this idea originally. I'm not, I'm good, but I'm not that good. But I thought I would use what I'd found and make it fit. So here is a 2-inch gift card that just squeezes into here. So let me show you how I made that. Again, it's a piece of 4 1/4 by 11. Don't remember what my measurements were, and it's scored at 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. Or perhaps it's not. Perhaps I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. So 5 1/2 is the usual. Fold it in half and make a card standard size, and then it's folded. Oh, not that side, Alison. It's folded back in on itself, so it looks like that. So it's a bit like the ZZ card, only we're not Zing it, we're just tucking it in. And then what we need to do is make a hole in here that a gift card could go into. However, this is 4 1/4, and the gift cards, no, again with the gift cards, the lottery tickets are 4 inches. So it's quite a tight fit. So I took the label punch, and what you need to do is put it in and go up as far as it will go and just cut. And then you have a space, and then we've got 1/4 inch to play with. So I took my pencil and I marked on the edge where about 1/8 goes. So actually can't really see that in the, there we go, about 1/8 from each end, which makes the 1/4. So now we need to go put it in and go to where that pencil mark is. It's easy to get to where it needs to be because it's as far in as the punch will go, but it only really leaves a very small area at the edge. So there you have it. And then we're going to fasten this down with tear and tape. The other ones you needed to fasten the sides and there just wasn't room to do that. This one, it actually only gets fastened where it meets back in the middle, and it leaves all this space free. So let's find the edge of the, those of you who watched a few of my videos, you saw the one where I couldn't find the end of the darn tape. So it's like deja vu. All right, so tear and tape, because again it's going to be holding something, and we need to know that it's going to be secure. So just fold it over, and then the lottery ticket will fit snugly into there, just. So that's how it goes, and now we just need to decorate it. So I have the cardstock and some designer series paper. 4¼ by 2 3/4. I cut it down really tightly. It's 4 1/8 by 2 5/8, and then the designer series paper is 4 by 2 1/2. So let me just attach that where it needs to be. And then there's also a piece of basic white, which is the same size as the Pear Pizzazz. It's 4 1/8 by 2 5/8, and I've already gone ahead and stamped it just to save a little bit of time. So now we're going to attach these onto the card body. So it just fits with a small layer around. This one fits right there, and then the white piece with its greeting pre-stamped on it, here's one I stamped earlier, gets to fit there. And then when we put the scratch off in, we don't want to be able to see this, so the next step was to find a way to hide that, and I just took a bit of Pear Pizzazz and some basic white that I used. I don't remember what the stamp set I used. I did have a stamp set that had the same leaf patterns, Love and Affection, so I just stamped it in the Evening Evergreen, the Pear Pizzazz, and the Real Red, and it kind of matched it all up. And then that's big enough to go over there, so you can't see it. So let's quickly attach that to it. And this is 4 1/8 by 3 1/2, and then the overlay is 4 by 3 3/8. I know there's a lot of 8s, guys, sorry, but it was the only way that was good enough to make it fit. So when we've done the ZZ folds, you know the trick of doing it, putting the adhesive onto the back where it's flipped over and you can see. So we just need to basically share that equally between the distance, and then we know from here to this side is a safe area to put the adhesive, that it's not going to stick the card down onto itself. Oops. So we'll go right to the edge, and then when we come to stick this over, we know that there's no adhesive here. So this is the card as it looks when it's closed. This is how it will look when the recipient opens it. So the best way to put the lottery ticket in is to have it this way so they can see what they've got, and then you can make sure that it fits within this boundary, so when you close it down it can't be seen. So that's it. I hope I have inspired you to get some gift cards or some lottery tickets. These are just, you know, they're snap versions, aren't they, of ones that we already made. And I wish you a jolly, lovely, happy gift giving season. Thanks for watching.